I have access to the power within me. I have access to the power within me. I have access to the power every minute, every hour. I have access to the power within me.
We could just sing that maybe 1 or 12 more times and go home, right? Or just start eating lunch. So what I told B.A. after I told him that I loved him, the first time I met him, I said, was it too soon that I tell you I love you? I said to him that he gives me hope for what church can look like. Because I think I've shared with some of you that I may not choose to ever be a church minister per se, and grateful that you allow me to guest speak, but not every church has a group of board members like you have, certainly. Yes. And certainly most churches don't have someone who's willing to go the extra mile, as my father would say. Go that extra mile, Therese, you know. Actually, he probably went around the world, you know. Oh, it's Thursday, I think I'll write a song. Right? And so it gives me hope that we as a unity movement will be in existence, that church will be in existence, because there's a shift in the culture where if the music is not desirable, people don't come. With no disrespect to Reverend Rose or to me about what we say. But there's a level of harmony that gets into our soul, into our cells at a molecular level through music and through song. When we sing, we pray twice. And so who knows what the future has for me. You know, last year it would have been like, no way, no how, no HE double hockey sticks will I ever do church again. And now there's hope. There is hope. And so for Richard Medici to say something like, wow, that could be a church, that could be a song you get out into the church. You have to imagine Richard, how many songs that he hears in a day, let alone a week, let alone a month, of people who are saying, hey, look at, this is what I wrote, this is what I wrote, this is what I wrote. And I know him personally. My husband, Tom, knew him personally. I know his wife, that those compliments, that encouragement doesn't come lightly. And so how wonderful that we have you. I already told you I love you, so. And it's about having the power. We can name the power whatever it is, but Therese, has to know that she has the power. Not the power that's built by ego, but the one that comes from love. And I say, I do this with my head for ego because when we're thinking is when we are usually in our ego minds. Ego means edging God out. We have to have an ego as long as we have this skin suit that we're wearing, because it helps us know when there's fight or flight or there's danger and all of those things. However, when we become spiritual beings, which is what we actually are born as, but when we remember or realize or accept that we're spiritual beings, then we are able to use our power to stay in the truth. That's really what it's all about. The class that Reverend Rose is doing, the 12 gifts from God, of course, everything is a gift, right? So even anger is a gift. However, when it becomes loud, abusive, too much, add all the different words you want, it doesn't serve us. But it does serve Therese when I go, oh, wait, I'm angry or a little snarky or sarcastic. Get that? Right? When that comes up, then it's like there's something not right in the truth of who I am or in the situation or in the relationship that I'm having, the dialogue. So that's why the powers are there to help us remind our true self to get back to the spirit of whatever is happening. When I don't say, ouch, you stepped on my toe, then I'm like, no, really, I'm fine. No, I'm fine, right? And the whole body language changes, my voice changes, my hands don't go up sometimes physically, but certainly my attitude becomes palpably different, and the energy changes because we're energy beings. So how about every day, if this power or some level of the power that we just experienced was what was driving you? What was your motivating factor? So that every day, would it be okay if you were just happy every day? Yes? Every moment, right? Didn't he say every moment, every day? But we have to then change our mind, small m mind, to make sure that that shift happens. Otherwise, the other kind happens. So one of the things that Martha Creek says is you go within or you go without. So I promise you that you will be laughing when she's here, because it's just like she just takes life and makes it so simple. Because it really is simple, but our thinking and our attachment to things make it difficult. So the 12 Powers, is it an easy book to read by Charles Fillmore? There are easier books. Charles Fillmore, very scientific in his approach to life. And, he had to finally admit to his wife, Myrtle, oh, well, maybe that prayer did work, and that's why your tuberculosis went away. Maybe there's something to this law of mind action that I should practice. And his leg did grow. His pain in his body from the accidents he had as a child did lessen and go away. And of course, that's because he decided to make it so. He says, inherent in the mind of being, which is you and me, there are 12 fundamental ideas. You'll hear them called gifts, powers, faculty of mind, ideas. So there's many of them, but the really important part of that whole statement is that there's 12. 12 is a very metaphysical number that means spiritual completion. So be aware as 12 shows up in your life. There were 12 tribes of Israel, right? 12 months in a year. Oh, but did we create the months in the year? No, because they were here before Christianity. 12 disciples. And that's how Fillmore writes this book. Mr. Fillmore writes this book as if when he, in his studies, when Jesus realized that he was realizing his calling. He needed to call forth his disciples. You've heard that, yes? Well, what he was doing in his mind was calling forth these 12 powers. We all have them. There are many, many, many powers. These are the 12 that metaphysically Unity has decided to highlight. And we often say that the 13th one is joy. So the 12 powers, I'll just say them, but of course, if you want to study them, Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock to noon with Reverend Rose right here at the church. So the 12 powers: faith, strength, wisdom, love, power, imagination, understanding, will, order, zeal, elimination, and life. I won't test you on them. But we were tested. I remember when we were in school and we had to figure out what, we had to know where they were in the body and everything. And there's prayers and all sorts of ways to just stay in the 12 powers if that was going to be the way that you used it through meditation. They work together. So when I use my wisdom with my zeal, then I'm not too much. Right? People will say, what's your growing edge, Therese? My zeal is because I get so excited and my energy is so high that people are like, wow, it's only 8 o'clock in the morning, right? So I have to use my wisdom, right? My understanding with love makes compassion. So there's a whole methodology of using them, and there's not just one right way ever. You call them forth within you. When I'm walking on the south side of Chicago, I am calling forth my faith that all will be well as I walk, right? And I also use faith in knowing that I will continue to live the way my soul wants me to live. So there's different ways to use them as well. So again, Tuesday morning, 10 to noon, come and see how we put them to use in our life. But some of the background of Fillmore and how he figured out that this was the way he was going to use them in his own life. He used, of course, Jesus was his example. Even though there's many way showers in the world, Jesus is our guy in unity. And so, as the younger kids in YOU might say, is, he's our homeboy, right? So we don't take offense at how words are used or how manners of expressing things happen. Get back to what the truth is. So they're practical spiritual gifts that we have. Different than the ones we talk about when we speak of the ones that are written in the Bible, which include, hospitality and speaking in tongues and all of those. These are a different kind of set of spiritual gifts. So it's not like you have to take the class to get them. You already have them. It's just a matter of figuring out how will you show up as the Christ expression. What the Christ means is the fully awakened human being. We don't have to be hung on the cross, although some of us have hung on crosses, haven't we? And what I say to my family is, get off the cross, we need the wood. Right? Because usually when someone's, acting all martyr-like, right, it's because they're forgoing their own power or they've given it away. And somebody, as bold as I am, you would think, wait, she could never give her power away. Oh, yes, I have and I do, and I have and I do, and I did and I will, and all of that, until I don't anymore. Because that's what it means to be fully human. So to be Christ-like is fully humanly awake to the spiritual truth that is each of us. Everybody breathe. That's it. That's the whole lesson. Because it's not about being different than you are. It's not about how well educated you are, how many papers you have, how many papers you don't have, what you did, what you're going to do. It's just the truth. When you decide to take on the Christ-like nature that Jesus had in the world, that's when you are in your best, in your truth, in your highest possibility of being fully humanly awake. Which means we often have our eyes closed as we're getting humanly awakened because we're doing prayer, we're doing meditation, we're having quiet walks, we're writing gratitude notes. You can come on Wednesday night and partake in some of this midweek lift as we urge you to get out of the busyness of life and go within. So Jesus, born in Bethlehem, from Galilee rather, realized his true spiritual nature as he was growing up. Now, we only know of his life until he was 33 when he died. But there's a big part in the middle that we don't really know about. And we believe, at least that's what history has told us, is that he went about and was taught by teachers. So are you willing to know that in Unity and New Thought, which is a lot of New Thought people were at the music conference, not just Unity people, because it's spreading. The word is spreading. When we talk about the Christ mind, we're not really always talking about Jesus, although I'm using that as the example today, but we're talking about our divine potential. Because the Centers for Spiritual Living and, for example, the Unitarian Universalists don't even talk about Jesus or Christ in their lives. It's okay. They realize we still have all the divine potential. Born in the image and after the likeness of all that is great. So are you okay with being a fully awake human being? Yes? So turn to your neighbor and say, I am fully awake. Turn it to somebody else. So now we get to call each other higher all the time and say, have you been napping? Do you need a nap? Or, how is that awakeness serving you? Because it's not about being critical. Remember what we were talking about, or, what Martha was talking about. Because if I'm going to be critical of you, it's only because I'm very unhappy with myself. Now, if you're in a position of, in a boss and you have to then critique somebody, that's different. But we're talking on the day-to-day, that happens, right? yada, yada, yada stuff. So know that when that's arising in you, if you could take out a mirror, I'm not sure that's always possible, and just look at it and say, what am I not happy about myself? And just look at it. And I'll tell you what, it'll dissipate. Because if you're looking in your own eyes, something comes about, because there's no way you cannot see that that is your soul that you're looking into. And it's a practice that we do. Look in the mirror. Look at yourself. These are the eyes to the soul. And so be kind. Didn't we talk about that last week? Love ourselves first, and then love another. So the Apostle Paul wrote in Acts, this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. So what we have to do is to let go the critiquing. Let go, oh, minister shouldn't wear flip-flops because she left her shoes at home and is cat sitting at someone else's house, right? But there will be churches where this is not acceptable, and I would have driven however long it was to go get real shoes. Because people judge, right? Now, would I wear these if I was going to a ball? No, I'd wear my really cute high shoes, But the thing is, can we just show up and know without apologies, I'm here, I'm present, I've got the power, right? I've got the power. And closed fist doesn't mean fighting fist. It means I've got it, I've grabbed it, I'm going to apply it, right? It can mean the other things, but think about it when you're doing it. You have to grab something in order to get it. Fillmore goes on to say, Jesus was the first fruits, the way shower. That's what we call him, don't we? And through following his example and taking on his character as a spiritually minded person, we shall come to the same consciousness. So it's just us taking the truth. We are the power, applying it, remembering when we veer from it, oh, wait, I'm the power. Where is it? I don't know. Maybe put something in your wallet that says, I am the power, or in your purse or on the visor, something. And here's what he said that at O Dark 100 this morning really resonated. Through mental energy, I know Suzanne knows this, or the dynamic power of mind, people, release the life of the electrons secreted in the atoms that compose the cells of our body. That's how we wrote. That's why it's not like, I think I'm going to read Charles Fillmore today. No, you might not think that, but take it and unpack it. Mental energy, that's our thinking. Or we could say the power of our dynamic mind. Use great adjectives to describe yourself. We release the life of the electrons that are waiting, that are screaming to get out, that cause health, that cause happiness, that let go depression and illness and all those yucky poo-poo things, and help us be the truth of who we are. I have Nana on the brain because I'm going to go see one of my grandsons play soccer today. So we get to release all that no longer serves us through prayer, meditation, journaling, yelling at the beach, do whatever you need to do. Get it out of you so you can claim your power. Balance and integration. And this is what I will close with. And I did not write this. This is what Fillmore wrote. In other words, he sees the 12 powers as a sort of team designed to work together instead of always independently. A similar illustration, he writes, would be that of the 12 notes necessary to produce a beautiful chord. How wonderful that that's what I read at O Dark 100 this morning. And look what we were able to experience through BA saying, it's Thursday, I think I'll write a song. He knows he has the power. Is it new for him? It's all new for him. All of Unity, all of our Unity Speak is new. And yet you know the truth of who you are. He's a musician, he's a composer, a writer, a conductor, and so he's going to make it happen. What will you make happen this week because you know the truth of who you are? Think on that, and let us pray. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the joy, for the music, for the harmony that is us, for the power that is us, for these 12 gifts of God born into us, as us, expressing through us, because we are children of the one who created all that is great, all that is good. Thank you for the consciousness of this congregation, for this sacred and holy ground we call Unity of Merritt Island, and for all that is yet to be. We are grateful. We are excited. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Amen.